Hey, what's going on, crew? Welcome back to the show. My name is Jeff. You are tuned into the Clinic Growth Secret Show, or maybe you're possibly watching on YouTube. We are going to be putting out a lot more YouTube content now. If you guys are new here or new to the show, new to the channel, just for context, my name is Jeff. I own Clinic Growth Accelerator. We help holistic practice providers, including med spas, chiropractors, and really anyone offering holistic health services that's non-pharmaceutical and non-invasive surgery, grow their clinics, get more new patients. We've got about 100 active clients we're doing this for around the States and Canada. Our goal with all of our clients is to help them hit a minimum of $200,000 a month, and we want to be able to help people scale largely past that. Okay, so if you're on your way to doing $200,000 a month, maybe you're brand new, maybe you're at 50 grand, maybe you're at $1 million a year, and you want to continue to scale. The ideas in this channel are hopefully going to help bridge your marketing, sales, and retention processes even further so that you have the chance of hitting that long $200,000 a month and hopefully someday even significantly higher than that, okay? So in today's session, we're going to talk marketing, very heavy marketing and sales. It's going to be kind of a philosophy-driven, a psychology-driven session today. And we're going to talk about what's called the 11 mental steps of agreement, okay? The 11 mental steps of agreement is a process that every prospect goes through in their head before they decide to take action on a product or service. And the deeper you know these 11 steps, the more you can embed them in your sales process to have a higher probability of getting that person to say yes to your particular service, okay? So without further ado, the 11 mental steps of agreement. If you guys, again, get value, please share the show. We do grow organically, all right? We don't grow on paid ads, so that means that we have to grow on word of mouth, okay? So if you guys get value, please share the show forward. And if not, let us know what you'd like to see differently, or leave us a comment and we will address that and make our show better. We do listen frequently to our audience and what the audience wants to hear. So without further ado, guys, 11 mental steps of agreement to make a purchase. So I'm going to first start out by going through all 11 steps, and then we're going to talk about each one individually. All right, so here are the 11 steps. Number 1 is possibility, beneficial nature, attainability, personal possibility, personal attainability, reasons prior failures are not their fault, reasons this is different, personal beneficial nature, advantages of essential timing, personal advantageous or essential timing, and then personal appropriateness, all right? So the first one is possibility. So without a possibility, nothing exists, okay? Businesses exist to solve problems. If somebody doesn't believe that it's possible to solve a problem, then it stops there, all right? So that also means that like every single person that you market to is not in the market for your product or service, okay? Okay, just because you're marketing a migraine relief campaign doesn't mean you're going to get everyone to resolve that problem, because not everybody has migraines. Okay, so possibility is where everything begins with marketing. All right. The second is beneficial nature. So if I have migraines, okay, and I believe it's possible to solve them, then the first thing is like, okay, like I'm thinking about the benefits of if I did solve the migraines, what would my life be like? All right. That's what motivates people to take action, is they think about the benefits of solving the problem, all right? So if I have migraines and I can't live my life and I can barely look into the light without getting a drastic headache, it's gonna be certainly beneficial for me to solve that problem so I can live a better life, all right? So the third is attainability. So going over how attainable the opportunity is. So this, again, talking at a broad level in your marketing that like, look, like it is attainable for you to reduce these migraines because we've done this before, we've done this a lot of times, all right? So showing a track record of success can be really effective at increasing attainability for your prospect when they're watching your marketing message, all right? So first three are possibility, beneficial nature, and attainability. Those are broad marketing messaging, okay? It's possible, here's the benefits of solving this problem. And yes, we believe it's attainable for you because we've done this a lot. Track record, all right? Testimonials, how long you've been doing it, and that kind of stuff. Now we're going to get into the personal. Now we're going to get into the head of the particular person that's watching your marketing message, okay? So the next one is personal possibility. What is possible on an individual level, all right? So this relates to how many battle scars somebody has. So like if somebody's had migraines for years, they might have a harder time believing that it's possible to resolve the migraines than somebody who just developed those migraines within the last few weeks, okay? So the longer somebody has had the problem, the lower the possibility they believe on a personal level it is to achieve the outcome they're looking for, okay? That's gonna come back a few different times throughout our conversation today, so just keep that in mind, all right? The next one is personal attainability. So what's attainable for me on an individual level? Okay, so if I believe that I personally can resolve my problem, then like is it actually attainable for me to make the necessary investments and necessary time and energy to solve the problem? So attainability relates a lot to investment in finances, time in terms of like my time commitment in the office, and then also an energetic thing in terms of opening up my energy to be able to resolve the problems. Okay, that relates to like effort and sacrifice. Like what might I have to give up to solve these problems? Okay, and is that actually attainable for me as I see my life in current state? Okay, so attainability relates to the energetic forces required to actually resolve the problem and make that commitment. Okay, next is reasons prior failures are not their fault. This is a big one. So to be clear, the more times that somebody has failed to resolve a problem, the more the more layers of what we call baggage they have. Okay, so if somebody has I'm just using migraines, so this is a fair example. So if somebody's had migraines for a lot of years and they've tried pharmaceuticals, they've tried different docs, they've been to massage, they've been to PTs, they've been to a couple chiropractors, and they have had little to no results, then they're going to have a lot of past failures. Okay, that's called baggage, all right? And so our job is to alleviate them of that baggage. Our job is to say, hey, put those bags down. We're going to pick these bags up and move them over here for you because you don't need those anymore. And so what that looks like is throughout your discovery process, one of the main things you have to do is overview the past. So like if you overview their past on what they've tried to resolve these migraines, and they've got a laundry list of things, you need to understand that that person is going to be a tougher cookie to convert because of those past experiences. It's not like your stuff doesn't work. It's that the stuff hasn't worked for them, so their skepticism level is much, much higher than somebody who has, not a lot of failed attempts, okay? So we have to alleviate them from having responsibility for their failed attempts. So it's really, really helpful in sophisticated markets. And here's what I mean by that. So there's a brilliant advertising book called Breakthrough Advertising. And in that book, he writes about market sophistication. So what that means is that the more times somebody has been exposed to a product or service, the more sophisticated they become. And so like, for example, like when the Tesla first came out, they could just say, try the all-new electric Tesla. That's all they had to say because it was brand new. There was not a lot of baggage, okay? As the market became more sophisticated, their claims had to change. So it went from try the all-new electric Tesla to try the all-new prolonged battery inside of our electric Tesla, right? So now they're changing it to this prolonged battery and the battery life. They're using a mechanism within the vehicle to kind of create that difference, okay? So when somebody has a lot of failures, we have to look them dead in the eye and be like, hey, look, John, I know you have migraines, and I know you've done a lot of stretching. I know you've done massage. I know you've seen a PT. I know you've seen a chiropractor one time. The reason that you have migraines is not because like it's your fault that all that stuff didn't work. The reason you didn't get the result is because you were not provided with X and Y and Z. So you have to show them that it's like, hey man, it's not your fault. It's that the process was incorrect. So the more sophisticated the market, the more you have to talk deeply about your process that you're going to take somebody through in order to actually get that result, okay? So we have to let them say like, hey man, like, okay, I guess I didn't get the result, but according to this person, it's because the process I went through was incorrect. So, okay, it's not my fault. I'm not like a loser, if you will. Like I am possible to be fixed, right? So we have to alleviate them of kind of the responsibility of those past failures first and foremost. The second thing is, next one I should say, is reasons this is different, okay? So reasons this is different heavily relates to how you position your service. So if you're watching this, this is a really tactical aspect of your sales process. When we demonstrate reasons we're different, it's a lot of times we use what's called the us versus them frame. And the us versus them frame sounds like this. What most people do is they do X and Y and Z. The challenge with that is that it doesn't overcome the root cause of the problem, right? Which leaves you ultimately in the same position. What we do differently is we do A, B, and C, which ultimately dissects and gets to the root of the cause to ultimately get you to the main target, okay? So the way we present that to someone who's been through a lot of different trial and error is we say what most do, and here's what we do. And this is why what we do is different, okay? So we have to be able to show a clear difference as it relates to a process in order to convert the person who has a higher degree of sophistication and who has a higher degree of baggage that they're bringing to this conversation, okay? Next is personal beneficial nature, okay? So personal beneficial nature is directly correlated to the testimonials and context that you give somebody, okay? So for an example, if Cindy comes in with low back pain, then the benefit to her would be reducing the low back pain to ultimately, live a more free life. If John comes in with migraines, then the beneficial nature is reducing the migraines, okay? So these two have two completely contextual different benefits that they need to be talked about. So if you start showing Cindy, who's got low back pain, a bunch of migraine testimonials, it might level her up a little bit on the certainty scale. But it's not going to have drastically as an impact than if you showed her a bunch of migraine testimonials. That's where contextual relevance matters a lot. Because it's like, okay, cool, this person has a bunch of testimonials, but they're all related to low back. I have migraines. How does that impact me? Okay? So one strategic thing that you can do is give people contextual relevant testimonials. Okay? So in between day 1, day 2, day 1, discovery, identify what's going on. You realize they have migraines. In between day 1 and day 2, hammer them with a bunch of migraine testimonials. Okay? Relevant, contextually, conversations of people that have actually overcome that same constraint that that person has in their own life, okay? So that's contextually the personal beneficial nature and really adding a lot of context to that, okay? The next is advantages of essential timing. This is kind of like an urgency and scarcity thing. So you guys can use different specials in your office for someone to take action. You can add more value to somebody who's kind of on the fence. So if someone's like, man, I really want to do this, but can I just get started in the next month? What are the things that we can do to really add more value to get them to take action today instead of next month? Because you and I both know if they wait that long, their problems are only going to get worse, and the probability that they actually take action becomes slim to none because they're going to find all the reasons why not to do it. Okay, prospects that are on the fence, that walk away from conversations, 90% of the time, they find reasons to justify not making the investment instead of reasons why they should make the investment. So what are the advantages of essential timing that we can get them to understand today to get them to take action today? That's a good thing for you to be considering. That can be pricing, or that can be additional elements of value, such as, hey, we're going to do more one-on-one time with you, doc. We're going to do more one-on-one time with the doctor and this person, right? That could be, again, we had a special going on because it's the holidays or because it's the new year. It doesn't matter what it is, but what are the advantages of taking action today, okay? Next is personal advantageous or essential timing. This is where we say, this is again where we get deeper into the report and we say, hey, look, man, you can wait on this. You can kick this can down the road. That's not a problem. The challenge with you doing that, as I guess, do you see this getting better the longer you wait? Right? So this is where we ask questions and really get deeper into their psyche and say, hey man, this is a reoccurring problem. We know that your lifestyle is probably not going to significantly change overnight. So what's the probability that this problem continues to get better without you taking any additional action? Well, the probability is pretty low, right? That's where context matters a lot. And we're not using fear tactics here, to be clear. We're just asking questions. You know what I mean? Because many of the problems that we have as humans, especially in chiropractic decompression, are as a result of our lifestyle, okay? And many times if our lifestyle doesn't change, is it likelihood that the problem gets worse or does the problem get better? It's just an honest question. Well, the answer is obvious, okay? So we have to have personal, contextual, and advantageous timing, all right? And then the last one is personal appropriateness. Okay, so at the end of the day, remember that you're adding value in selling three things. You're selling yourself as the provider, you're selling the company that you work for or that you own, and you're also selling the service or product that you're offering somebody, okay? So once you get done with your whole spiel, that's what the person's gonna ask themselves, okay? this the right person I want to work with? Is this the right company I want to work with? And is this the right program? Okay? So ideally, at the very end, they're very certain on all three of these things. And by going through these 11 steps that we've talked about today, you're going to be raising the certainty for each one of these elements, which is ultimately going to increase your probability of them signing up with you instead of going somewhere else. All right? So this session today is all about understanding the buying behavior of your prospect. For many years, I always thought that if you got an objection, it was 100% related to price. But then I started asking people who were skeptical about buying. I would say, hey, let me ask you this. If the program was free, would you do it? And a lot of people said no. And I realized that it's not always about price. It's about these 11 mental steps of agreement. Somewhere along the way, one of these elements was missed, or one of these was not completely certain as it needed to be. So once you understand these 11, you can embed different elements of your sales process to ultimately get more people to say yes with less objections on the 1 yard line. So I hope it's been helpful. I'll list these in the show notes for you below. If you'd like to have a personal conversation with us over at Clinic Growth Accelerator to talk deeper about your marketing and sales processes, as well as do some financial modeling about how to take you from where you're at today to where you want to go in the future, feel free to grab a call in the show notes. That will be directly with me personally, and I'll be able to walk you through some different ideas about where your clinic's at today. Worst case scenario, we'll leave with a game plan. Best case scenario, we can possibly work together at a deeper level if we're actually a fit to help you out. At the end of the day, I always appreciate you guys being on the channel and supporting the show. If you got value, please share the show. Send it to somebody who needs to hear it. And if you'd like to work with us at a deeper level and experiment with the conversation, feel free to book a call. Otherwise, take these 11 steps in mental agreement, apply them in your own sales processes, and I promise you'll see a significant upside in your conversion if you can actually tackle these 11 steps of agreement along the way.